Hi everybody, this is Steve Washer with BrainyVideo.com, and today we're going to do a little bit of an exercise, a little editing exercise with text. We're going to show you how to make your text do the samba. But first, let's just look at the little segment that we're going to be tackling, which is this video on the Brainy Video homepage. So let's just look at it real quick. That's it. We're just going to take a look at that one section. So let's open it up in Final Cut Pro, deconstruct it, and see how it's put together. As you can see, this is the section on the timeline. Let's take a look at it one more time. Now, you see where the music changes is where the picture changes. That one phrase ends, and then all of this stuff ends too. Now, since we know how long it is, how long that piece of music is, and where it ends, I'm just going to take the music all the way down now so that it doesn't bother us. We can just play through the sequence without worrying about that. In fact, I'm going to take away all this stuff except for the text. So let's open up this other area here and take down the music here. And now you can see that I've made the girl disappear, and I've made the airplane disappear, and I've made that color background as well go away. So what we're going to do now is just bring in the text. But before we do that, I want to show you one thing more on the timeline. Let's just look at where the girl and the airplane come in. Now, they come in not abruptly, but with something called a cross dissolve, and that's just fading up. Now, from the time this cross dissolve starts to 1 second, let's see what's happening here. That is 1 second on the timeline. 1 second. Now, in that 1 second, she comes up, and as you can see, this text is just starting to come up here. That means that we only see her for half a second before the text starts coming in. Now, why not just bring the text in at the same time that you bring in the girl in the airplane? Well, that's just so that the mind is able to register what's going on and also to create a little bit of what's called cognitive dissonance. And that just keeps people watching because they want to know, what does this girl have to do with this airplane? Well, here's what she has to do with the airplane: the power of vision. So now we get, oh, the girl is having the vision of the airplane that she wants to fly or own. So we're going to let that come in for 1 second, and then we're going to start to bring in our text. Now, let's look at the way the text comes in. Look at the power. It takes, I can just tell you, it takes about 2.5 seconds for that text, the power, to come in. But also I want you to notice one more thing about how it comes in. Did you notice when it stopped? It stopped really subtly, didn't it? And we do something special to it to make it do it that way. And also we're doing the same thing with vision. So we're letting these pieces of text come in, and as you can see, this second piece of text comes in about half a second after the first piece of text comes in. And then we make them come in for about 2.5 seconds in terms of their size, and then we stop them really subtly. So as you can see, there's like 4 or 5 things happening here just within the first 2.5 seconds. But you know what? It's really easy to do that. So let's do it right now. The first thing we have to do, at least in Final Cut Pro, this is how you bring in text. We're going to bring in some outline text, and we just go to Controls, and we'll change this to the power. And the font that we're using, I believe, was called, where is it now? I can't find it. Here it is, Brush Script Standard. It's 64 on the font, and the line width is going to be considerably smaller than 50. And now we can grab it here, make it a little bit shorter, and bring it down to the timeline. And we'll bring it down to about, half a second, right? After this other one starts coming in. And we're just going to take this and hit Command T on the Mac, which gives us a cross dissolve there. And so now it comes in kind of subtly. But we know we don't want it to sit there, so we're just going to select it and put it up here in the upper left. Now, we know that from about 2.5 seconds from the time the cross dissolve starts, 1, 2, and then a few more frames, and that's where we want it to end. Now we also know that it ends right here, so let's go ahead and put in our cross dissolve at the end. Okay, but this is where we wanted it to end its initial motion. Now, so we go to the Motion tab, and the first control that we come to is Scale. And by the way, this light area represents the amount of time that this text is on the stage. And right here is where that text is going to be at 100%. So we're just going to click right here and put a keyframe at 100%. And then we'll go back to the beginning of the text where it first starts coming in, and we're going to change the scale to 80%. So now when it comes in, it grows as well as coming in, and then it stops here. But I want you to see something. Notice how it does stop. Boom. It was pretty abrupt, and we don't want it to be abrupt. So let's go back to the scale, and now we're on the keyframe. Now on the Mac, we're going to hit Control and then select this keyframe. Now there's two things we can do here. We can either clear the keyframe out, or we can make it smooth. What does that mean? Well, that just means that the in-out is going to be a lot smoother. So let's just check it out. See, it ended and we almost didn't notice. Pretty cool, huh? Now, let's just duplicate this. Copy. And paste it over here, because it comes in on the same timeline. I don't want it to do that. And then we come back to where we were. Scooch that in a little bit so that it matches the other one. That means it'll go out at the same time as the other one. And again, we have about half a second before the next version of this comes in, but we want it to come in down here. Because if you recall, in our other one, Of Vision came in at the lower right. And we don't want it to say The Power, so let's just select this one, go to Controls, and say Of Vision. Oops, capitalize the V. Of Vision. And now that uses the exact same keyframe, but because it starts a little bit later, let me change this so it matches a little bit better. Because it starts a little bit later, basically we just did a cut and paste. Now let's render it. Go back and take a look. The Power of Vision. 2.5 seconds in, and you're in. Now, if we turn on our girl and turn on our airplane again, we'll just render out the whole timeline here. And now we'll bring up our music, and let's see what we've got. Pretty simple, huh? Now, if you wanted to do some, change the controls a little bit, want to change the text color to kind of this dark red, and maybe put a shadow on it, you can do that. but that's kind of like simple stuff there. The point is letting your text do cool things is really very, very simple. And well, that's it for me for today. I'm Steve Washer with BrainyVideo.com.